Hey everybody. We are down in the sugar shack. We got about 500 gallons of sap to boil. Been boiling for about an hour now and finally got to boiling. We started with some ice in the pan. Fixed mass quantities of wood. I got 2 blowers on this. Like filling up a locomotive back in the day. Imagine the Indians used to boil their sap in a hollow log with hot rocks, you know. I mean, I'm using chainsaws and then I'm burning as hard as I can right underneath a stainless steel pan, as hard as I can. And they would do it until they got it down to sugar. They didn't even know about syrup. They didn't go for that. They went right for the sugar. It's unbelievable how long it takes to do that. I never did that. I never bothered with that. I'm telling you right now. Here's a blower. the magic level that we're shooting for. Get rid of the smell of that smoke, and all of a sudden you can smell the syrup starting to become more pronounced. One time we had this shack just stood up finally the first time. We went to town, you know, we had it all kind of blingy, you know. But we're planning on taking this down a couple years ago. We confound it, you know. When one thing happens, another thing happens, and this thing just stays up. And then it's syrup season again, and the pan is still in position to boil. So we just keep going. When we open the door, kind of like knock down the boil some. It takes a couple minutes, like about now. It's back up. The sound of boiling. This volume here, there is a noticeable sound. Sap boils and has a sound, and the thicker it gets when it boils, the sound starts to change. And if you're listening for it, and you hear the changeover, it tells bells, get ready, and it's going to be a draw off. We got these TIG welded valves, so one on both sides. Stainless steel 304. It's a Lapierre syrup pan, 4 foot by 5 foot. It is a 1 foot deep pan, but we only keep it 3/4 of an inch. We started out this morning at 2 inches, and we're pretty damn near 1 inch now. When we get to 3/4, then we're going to open up the feed tank, and we're going to move the syrup to one side and have the clear on the other side, so we can start separating it. So once we get the consistency of sugar, syrup on this side today, then we'll set up a bar stool right here, a little tiny bar stool I got, and I'll put a cauldron under there, and we'll snag some and get it ready for filtering. Should be enough in this tub that we're cooking since the other day when we started to fill up this drum with syrup. The amount of liquid that we collected before the freeze up, we'll fill up 2 more of these, and we'll have 3 of these full of filtered syrup. And the plan is to try to get 5 of these by Friday. And for us, we won't be pushing our luck. still seems a little early to pull the plug because we just started. Some guys have been squeezing on their trees, fighting with the frozen days, and they're breaking a lot of equipment out there. You get on the blogosphere there on Maple Syrup, and there's a lot of whining going on out there because of the freeze up. I broke this, I froze, I broke that. It's like, winter is winter and spring is spring. And the guys that are collecting sap to make maple syrup in January and February are the kind of guys that are typically putting their Christmas trees up at Halloween. That's my opinion. Them are the guys that seem to be doing the most crying out there. In New Hampshire, maple syrup time to tap is the first Tuesday of March. It's not the first Tuesday of February. We had a couple of years and we got away with it, but that doesn't mean that the world just fell off its axis. It didn't. I'm Mark. I'm the Mason. I'm in New Hampshire. I don't believe in hokum pokum. I believe that God gave us maple trees and the ability to boil it down in sap to make maple syrup and sugar long before the AOCs of the world. I have no qualms to do this. When we get cold nights and warm days, it's prime conditions to make syrup. You got to collect the sap in order for that to happen, so far it hasn't cost us anything except our time here on the property to get this far into it. We got a little bit of filters, you know. We're gonna get some bottles and some jugs and stuff, but this is the time me and Naomi, we hang out. Could spend a whole day without talking to each other and enjoy each other's company. We've been together since 1979. Got a good boil going on now. Check back with you folks later. Talk to you later.